We're ready to decorate our little accordion album. We made this in our last video, and I hope yours turned out great. I hope you're happy with it. It's a really fun little album to make. This is the one that we made last time, but this is one I did earlier, and I'm going to take you through a few things and show you some of the decorations. But before we do that, I'm going to tell you what you're going to need to decorate the one you made. I'm using Graphic 45, the Cottage Life. I have both the 12 by 12 and the 8 by 8 papers. And so I'm going to use those. You can use whatever papers you like. Just make sure you like them a lot. Make sure that makes you happy. The other thing that we're going to need is our glue. And I'm using art glitter glue. And my bone folder, my pencil, my ruler. I do have a bigger ruler over here somewhere. And my scissors. And I'm going to use Tim Holtz Distress Ink Vintage Photo, the dark brown, or the medium brown. And I have also picked out, let me see if I can get this out here for you. I've also picked out a glitter. This is glitter paper. I just think it's so much fun to work with. So I'm going to see if I can't incorporate that into some of my pages. So before we start decorating, I'm going to go ahead and go through this a little bit with you to give you some ideas of how you might want to decorate yours, especially if you're using different papers than what I'm using, the Cottage Life Graphic 45. So I have chipboard decorations. These are chipboard. The little circles are chipboard. This is chipboard, and it's gotten laid on here. I've used basic paper on the back, and then I've cut out some of the pictures and glued on here, and then I've put the chipboard on top. So that makes a nice front cover. It looks real pretty. When I open it up, the first page that I have on my left is, it's actually kind of a double folder envelope where you can put things. What do you call those? I can't think. Oh well. I can put one in the back here, or I can put one up in the front if it were, well, this one will fit too. So you could actually put two in this one. And then I also went ahead and I used one of their postcard Cottage Lives, and the postcard is, I went ahead and glued it on top of this. This has a little chipboard button that you can pick up. And then there's decorations in the side. Now remember, anywhere that you have open spaces, you can put all kind of pictures or messages, anything you like in here. This was cut separately and pasted on the background paper. And then I turn my next page. This is also a sleeve, and I've gone ahead and put a little picture in there. I had to go ahead and make this little semicircle to put on the top so that it would be able to be pulled out, and decorate with all kind of stickers. Graphic 45 has some really nice packages of paper. They have not only the background papers, but then they have lots of pretty things and stickers and cut out chipboards. This is another pocket. We call these pockets. I'm sorry, my brain's not here. I've done a sticker and then a little card with stickers. So we'll talk about some of these, how to make them, how to put them in. I'm not going to do all of them with you. I'm going to let you use a lot of your creativity to fix this up. This has a little pocket that this will fit inside of. And all it is it is a cutout that then was just glued on two sides. It also has another little button that you can open this. And again, you can put pictures here, pictures here. You can make a list, people's birthdays, whatever you like, more pictures. And then this is all just glued down, picture. This is a pocket that goes to the side so that it pulls out. And this has just been glued partially on. The top part has not been glued, so that you can go ahead and put pictures in this, and then you can go ahead and put your card inside of that pocket. Now remember, when we get to the back, we can start flipping again. And so again, we have pockets with, I've put cards in there, and I've also put some stickers on it. And we have, I made these are bookmarks. They had made a different kind of pocket for this page, but I wanted to make mine as bookmarks. Librarian, of course. And then just something that's stuck on there, the different layers. You can put pictures on here. This is also a sideways pocket. You open it up, this will come out. You could also put some extra pictures in there that you like, fit in there along with that. And then we have, this has a magnet. Oh no, I'm sorry, this one doesn't have a magnet. This one actually, you have to pull up on it just a little bit because the button is only glued halfway, and so that flips down in there to hold it closed. And you can open and put pictures in all of this. Yeah, I don't think I used magnets in this one. And then just a place for pictures. And then we're back to our front. So I hope you've enjoyed this. This is the bases that we're going to start with. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how to start decorating and measuring for this. So let's put this one aside for now. Now the first one that I want to do, I'm going to open this because it's a little bit easier to work with this once these are flattened out. So I'm going to work on this side, this page first of all. And since this is my front page, I want it to be kind of decorative and a little bit pretty. So I'm going to go through some of my bigger scraps to see if I can find something that will fit. I kind of like that. That's kind of pretty. And this is why I keep all of my scraps together, because eventually I will use a lot of scraps that I have. So I'm going to go ahead and put that aside. Now, what we know is this is 4.5, and it is 5 inches on one side and 4.5 inches on the other. So you will probably want to go ahead and cut this at the 5 inch by 4.5. So let's go ahead and do that first. And I think I'm going to have the pictures going up this way. So I want to make it 4.5. Now, this is another decision you get to make. It's exactly 4.5 inches across our chipboard. A lot of times when we decorate, we leave 1/8 of an inch so that we have just a little piece of black showing. And I'm going to do that. So I know that this is 4.5 inches exactly across the chipboard. I'm going to take it down to 4 3/8. And I'm going to cut that. Oh, I'm going to keep this because this would make a nice little border somewhere. So I'll keep that. So you might want to go ahead and check this to see. And what you can see is you can glue this so that there's just a little fringe of black here. And then of course you're going to have black on this side because of your connecting pieces. So I'm going to cut this at exactly 5 because that's how, well, I'm going to cut it just a little bit shorter, 4 7/8, because I'm taking an 1/8 of an inch off each of mine. Now, this will fit pretty much exact here, but we want to make it shorter on this side. So this is where I will use my tick mark. And I'm going to place it about where I want to glue it, but then I'm going to mark it just a little bit below the edge of my black. So I don't want to cut any more off of this edge, but I do want to come down to my tick mark. So I'm going to put my tick mark in my cut line, and I'm going to put my corner at my cut line. Now, I don't like to start cutting at my corners here that are right at the edge, because sometimes you'll really make a mess of your paper. So I'm going to pull it down and start cutting from my tick mark up. And we took just a little bit of a corner off of there. I'm going to put that in my trash basket. I doubt that I'll be able to use that. And so again, I measure a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this in here and make sure, oh, that looks nice. There's a little bit of black on all of my edges. So we'll take our Distress ink, and this is one of my favorite colors. This vintage photo seems to make a lot of things look really pretty. And you're welcome to use colors if you like also. This is a personal choice. I don't say anybody has to do anything the way I do. What I will show you is when I am smudging. Let's move this black out of the way so you can kind of see. When I am smudging, I will hold my paper, but I will put the tool perpendicular, exactly up and down across the edge. And so what that does is it barely covers any of the edge you see here, but it does color the cut edge. It takes away the white. Let me see if I can do just a little bit on this so that you can see the difference. Can you see? I've smudged this edge, and I've just smudged the edge of it, and this is white. So a lot of times you want to hide that white because it just makes your product look a little bit more finished. Now, the other thing that I do a lot of times is on the straight edges, I will keep it up and down just to get the edge done. But when I get to a corner, if you've looked at old pictures, a lot of times they have almost a little bit darker in the corners. So I'm going to not hold my tool straight up and down, but I'm going to start to lay it over this way on the paper. And you don't want to do a lot at one time until you can see how much ink it's going to lay down in that corner. And you can kind of see I have a little bit more ink in this corner than I do on the straight edges. I'll do another corner with you, and I'm going to put a lot more in this corner. So I'm going to start, lay it over, and then straighten it out. You can also just kind of rub your ink across as much as you want, and you can kind of see I've put a lot on here compared to this side. You're welcome to do that on any corner you like, as much as you're happy with. And then once we get that distressed, I'm going to lay this out. I'm going to get my glue, and I'm going to go ahead and on the back of this, I'm going to put glue on the entire back. And then I will try to get this kind of centered so that I have just a little bit of black on each edge. I use the warmth of my hand, first of all, to get the glue to warm up and spread out a little bit, and then I will use my bone folder to continue spreading that ink out. Okay, so I do have, I'm going to have to find them. I do have some very pretty chipboards, and I don't know where I put them. So we'll have to use chipboards in our next little lesson. But what I am going to do is I kind of like this little cottage life here. So I'm going to fussy cut a little bit of that. And I think I'm actually going to cut it down under the poem. So in order to do that, let me put my needle back in my glue so it doesn't dry out. There we go. So in order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and use my cut and score board. And I'm going to put that right about there, I think, yep. And so I don't have a frame around the bottom. So what I might do is put this up just a little bit. Oh, and this might just work. And then kind of attach this at the bottom so it almost looks like the frame at the bottom is being covered up. So basically I am going to cut this just a little bit shorter. I don't want it quite that big, quite that wide, I guess I should say. And I don't know how big across I want that. And I'm going to cut this edge also so that just a little thinner. I don't quite want it that thick. Okay, so what I am going to do though is I am going to cut it exactly the 4 and 7, what is it, 4 and 3/8, because it's 4 1/2. Okay, so let me check and make sure this will go across here. Yep, I got it just a little bit off. I think it moved. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and smudge both of these. Now, this is a little tenuous for me, so once I get it open to cut and I'm finished cutting, I shut that so that I don't break it off when I move things. But I'm going to go ahead and get my Distress ink, and I'm going to smudge all of this. And this one I'm going to do a little bit more at the bottom than I do at the top. And then I'm going to do this one also. Okay. Now I want to make sure that I leave enough room for this little edging down here. So I'm going to kind of mark, not a whole lot, but I'm going to mark a little bit right about in the middle there so that I have a line. And I'm going to line this up so that it doesn't cover a whole lot of that line, and I'm going to glue it down. And of course I want it to be pretty square. There we go. And then I'm going to glue this just enough to cover that bottom edge. And I want this side down because it has more ink. And see, I'm just covering just a very slight little bit down here. There we go. Now, when I find my chipboard, I will bring you back to this page, and I'm going to put chipboard on here. But you can put any kind of chipboard here, anywhere you like, just to make it cute. But this is just a little poem with the cottage life, and I think it makes it look really cute. Okay, so I'm going to stop here for today because I wanted you to get an idea of what this looked like and then to get you started. But next time we have a video, I'm going to come back and I'll work through a few more pages with you to kind of get you, give you ideas of how you can do this, and it doesn't have to look like mine. See, this one looks exactly different than this one. And so just start thinking about how you want your pages to look. And so that the next time we come back, you'll kind of have an idea of what you're doing. Okay, I've really enjoyed this. I'll see you next time when we work more on getting this finished. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.